Here we are. What's up, boys and girls? Back here at Golden Touch Studios, another Crow Village production. Johnny, how's the world treating you?
Oh, man, great. I couldn't be better.
Actually, you know what? We're going to change your name from now on, as I mentioned earlier.
Oh.
You're going to be referred to as Jack.
Yeah, well.
You're okay with that, right?
Shine of respect for
the big
Jack,
man.
Jack Wilkinson,
for the big man. Joel, Happy New Year. How you doing, kid? Here he is. Congratulations on your achievements. So proud of you. Man, what a start to the new year, huh?
Yeah, the fan's going fast and it's hitting it fast. Yeah,
it's slinging poo everywhere.
It is, man. There's just so much going on to talk about. I mean, the wars and the economy, and Pat Sajak is leaving Wheel of Fortune. It's the whole world's upside down.
Wait, Pat's leaving?
I know. He's
what happened?
retiring. He's retiring.
I didn't know he was still alive. I'm sorry.
Nah, he's alive and wants to spend the rest of the time he has kicking to spend his billions, I would assume. Can't even, God knows what kind of money both he and Vanna White make. But,
counting their chips somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah, so he's time to get out,
Yeah, well, we're all trying to get out. Out from under something.
Somebody's trying to get us out.
Yeah.
See, one of the two.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. We're dug in as what was that? I forget that movie. If you dug in deeper than an Alabama tick, it'll take a lot to get me out. I'll tell you that. But anyway, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you had a great holiday, Hanukkah, Festivus, Kwanzaa, whatever blows your dress up. Whatever your thing was. Your family's well, and you got to spend some time with people and enjoy yourself because the world's not stopping.
No, it doesn't care. It's not waiting for you or me or anyone.
So much crazy shit.
Yeah.
Bro. Much crazy shit.
Yeah, and as we like to always start off, the world of weed.
The weed world is pretty much about what it was the last time I reported. I mean, we're going to talk about a couple things that we did some research on, but if you were able to run a business and you had a good product, you're surviving in California. If you
in that business anyway.
Yeah, in that business. Touche.
We're going to talk about that in a minute too.
Touche. A lot of the conglomerates, they're gobbling up the mom and pop shops, which is all part of capitalism, I think, in any business.
Yep.
But the weed's as strong as ever. There's lots of money in it. I don't see it ending anytime soon.
Yeah, and you've also got not just weed, but mushrooms.
It's funny.
The size of a cow's horns. Man.
We just had this conversation a minute ago, but these are what they refer to as penis envy mushrooms. All right, listen, and these, these are the small ones. Okay, these are the small ones.
That's what they all say. Yeah. Don't do that. Don't do that.
But I think this is the next thing that's going to be, I think maybe Oregon, maybe Washington, one of them. They're really, if you, without eating the whole mushroom, and taking that trip,
that microdose is what
microdose is what it is, and. It's not. There's no fentanyl in that.
Well, we've talked about that. We've talked about that before. I mean, these corporate guys, that work 70 hours a week. Those guys, they're microdosing LSD now, and it's just
they're eating Adderall, and this will curb your appetite. It will give you an extra focus, and this will keep you moving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Vikings can't be wrong. They ate mushrooms, didn't they?
Yeah. Well.
But anyway, I thought that'd be fun to bring some of those with you. We got our bag of weed here. Nothing, just a little OG for the afternoon. But that's about it. Like I said, there's talk about the mushrooms being legal in the state of California, and I hope that happens because it can help a lot of people. Weed was kept, in the back, so to speak, for a very, very long time. Cancer patients, people with PTSD, marijuana is not bad for you. Mushrooms aren't bad for you. They're natural.
Speaking of little segue here, marijuana. They changed the weed law
Oh yeah.
In California, we got a couple laws, or a few of them that happened on the 1st that our governor signed off on. But one of them,
Not my governor.
SB 700, employers can't ask if you smoke weed. They can't test you for it, and unless you're a construction worker or federal employee,
Or you have an
So-
accident. Like, so if you're employed and you do something, like something happens, they can send you down for a drug test to see if you're actually stoned on cocaine
at the time.
At the time,
Yeah. But I don't understand why they wouldn't extend that from construction workers to medical workers too. But
I think it's well.
I think people that work in hospitals are high on something all the time anyway. It's such a stressful job.
Yeah.
Doctors are famous for that. They not only do they prescribe pills, kind of like the hair club for men. They're customers too.
Big Lou's a customer too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got problems too. But yeah, so when you think about it though, they can't ask about alcohol, and it's kind of in the same realm now.
Yeah, I talked about this for a while with friends of mine that would say, oh, I can't smoke, I'm trying to get a job. I'm like, well, is the job in the state of California? Because one of the last car dealerships I worked for prior to being blessed and getting in the cannabis industry, that last year marijuana was legal, and the HR lady told me, she's like, yeah, we can't, if we send you down for a drug test, nobody wants to know if you're on weed or not because it's legal in the state.
Yeah.
But if you're in this state and your company's headquarters is in Chicago, different ball game. For some reason, you fall under those laws. But I don't know if this trumps that, no pun intended, or how that works. You know what I mean? Because I know federal employees still have issues with that. But I always said to people, like, it's weed. Like, I don't understand how you could drink all night long, right?
Yeah.
And get up and go to work, and you're still going to be drunk. You
Yeah.
smoke weed all night, and after a sandwich or two, you're not going to be as high, and you can still go to work and probably not have any issues. But
well, it takes I think companies probably, it's less hassle for them, but also I think a lot of them think, well, it's so hard to fire somebody these days, and that takes that off the table because they would love to have more reasons to fire people, because you own a business and somebody's flaking on you, you want to get rid of their ass. But it's hard to do these days. There's always some rule of law that's being abridged, and you can't get rid of them. So. But that takes that off the table as well. But we were going to just talk a little about some of these laws. The other one was the wage law, $20 an hour.
So what's the average minimum wage across the?
Well, it's $15, and I think in the California it might be $16 now, but it's $15 in California. But I know we are bad. We're nationwide. We're worldwide actually, but
ZZ Top.
Yeah, our audience actually. Goes about Long Beach is about how far north our audience goes, but
that's not true. We got people back east. Come on, shout out to those folks.
I know.
Florida, Texas,
Maryland,
the great state of Maryland.
Sorry. Anyway, so fast food places with a certain amount of employees, they got to pay them $20 an hour, and of course, the ramifications have already started. Pizza Hut has already laid off, or as of April, they will lay off 1,200 drivers because they can't afford them. So, and shortly after that, the robots will take over, and nobody will have a job.
Federal minimum wage in the United States has been $7.25 per hour since July 2009.
Right. So in Mississippi,
that's the last time Congress raised it.
So Mississippi, you're making $9 an hour, not in California.
What states pay $15 an hour minimum wage? Washington, New York, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Connecticut, California, and the great state of Maryland. Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
The Terrapin State, right?
Terrapin Station. The Terrapins.
So anyway, those laws are always unintended consequences, like so much of the bullshit laws that they put out there and the feel-good laws. So, we'll see what happens when all these people now, high school kids can't get a job because because the business can't afford to pay you $20 an hour. We got one person where we could have had three. Yeah.
Now we only get one.
Yeah, and that one, you know what? Robot will take care of that. I used to have a retail business, and it's hell, man. It is hell. There's no margin in anything.
Is this back when you did the camera shop?
Yeah, the old camera, Western Camera.
Western Camera.
On Anaheim Street in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a that
chicken
went the way of the
feed.
dinosaur as well. There used to be 5 beautiful camera stores in Long Beach alone, and now there's one, and I don't even know what they do. But there's still that odd person out there that uses film. You know,
I like film.
the
Film's cool,
enthusi-
but
it's
I
great.
yeah, I always used to shoot a lot of black and white
Yeah. Well, and now you can make it black and white. But
with a touch of a button.
one of the things it did, though, is it made better photographers. I talked to Art Holland, who was on our show.
Shout out to one of the
greatest photographers out there. But you had to be judicious about how you took a picture.
Well,
you can't take 10 pictures outside your car window when you're driving by a field because there's a cow 300 yards away.
Yeah.
You just don't
Well,
do that.
there's aperture, there's exposure, there's the film speed, there's
and the film cost and the
light.
printing cost.
Yeah, there was just a lot, you
Yeah.
know, that to take, you know, to get one good one.
All right, the next thing was the conceal and carry in public places.
Yeah.
So, you know, next time you go to the mall, you're not allowed to good guy with a gun. So
I'll
where are these guys?
try to remember that.
So where are the freaks? Yeah, I'm sure you will. So where are the freaks going to go now? Well, let's go to the mall because you know, no
soft targets, man. Soft targets. That's a thing. You know, you don't. It's Officer Tatum. Shout out to Officer Tatum. OfficerTatum.com. You know, he said, Why do they continue to shoot up schools? Because they're soft targets.
Yeah.
They're easy targets.
Yeah.
You know, we don't protect our children. You know,
we can't have police on campus.
Well, we'll segue real quick to the latest shooter in, where was it? Iowa.
Yeah, shot a couple kids and the principal.
A 6-year-old, and
yeah.
You know, nothing to see here because it's not some straight white guy. You know what I mean? That was in the military or has a bunch of guns. Like, they're not talking about.
Yeah, that subset doesn't get reported on much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like the Tennessee shooters.
Yeah,
the
manifesto that hasn't been released. Every other one was.
Yeah.
But, that's another.
Crazy.
The other thing that they did with guns is there's 11% tax that he signed on for guns and ammo. So because it's just not expensive enough. But all the money's going to go to violence prevention programs. So I'm sure that's where that'll go.
That's protected by armed security everywhere he goes. I'm sure.
But there's already like a 10% hit for federal taxes, and now he's adding on to that. People are still buying guns in record numbers, I'm sure.
Real quick, while we're still on concealed carry, they changed the law this year. You need like 18 hours of classroom instead of like 8 or 10 what it was prior. There's a bunch of new laws around that. So if you're looking to get your concealed carry permit, it does take a little bit more. If you don't have a concealed carry permit, which I understand completely, it's a misdemeanor. The gun's in your name, it's a misdemeanor. I would much rather have a gun and not have a concealed carry permit and not need it than not have the gun or the permit and need it.
Yeah.
It's a chance you take every day.
Well, and something we're going to talk about later about misdemeanors and what can happen to people that are charged with misdemeanors. Misdemeanor of jaywalking's not even a misdemeanor anymore. That happened last year. You can't give people tickets for jaywalking, but most misdemeanors they slap you on the wrist and that's about it. But try misdemeanor with a gun.
What was next on the gruesome list?
Yeah, this is just kind of interesting. It could be a good one. They're going to ease up regulations on building apartments and multi-units. Well, that's great because it takes so much to get something built. Well, it's only going to be for low-income housing. So you can build
Section 8. Do whatever you want.
You can build whatever the heck you want, and the interesting part about that is if you want to build in California anyway, if you want to build a single-family home somewhere, this is from Congress, $94,000 of it is regulations in the state of California. Now, even though that's a study that Congress did, I think that's probably a little bit high. So let's just divide it. 45,000, 48,000.
Right.
Yeah. So still $48,000 of anything that you build in California for just a 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch style house
in Palmdale.
Yeah, in Palmdale, $50,000 that has to go to whoever it goes to, including the mayor of Palmdale.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, this is one that might help a little bit. It's SB 43. It's for counties and cities. They can put a hold on someone who has a psychological hold for someone more than 72 hours if they really think they need it. So, that's a big problem with people on the street. They're mentally ill, and it's just showing up in droves. Latest one, the guy on the. Did you see the film of the guy on the subway in New York? Slugged a guy, knocked him right down onto the tracks 2 seconds before a train came.
Yeah.
So, he's been arrested for strangling people and the whole thing. So,
well, I mean, the judge.
It's a step to do something,
Well, I mean, this not holding people accountable, whether they be mentally ill or just fucking career criminals. I mean, did you see the spider guy jump over the judge's bench?
Oh, that guy, yeah.
He literally was like arms out, legs extended. I'm like, how did that happen?
Sign him up, man. He's pretty athletic.
His fucking attorney, whether he was a public defender or he was hired, is sitting there telling the judge, he really feels his client should get probation instead of jail time. And she's, reading this, who it was said, he has a rap sheet longer than a Target fucking receipt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's long and it's all violent.
It's all violent stuff.
And he stood there and said, well, you're going to do what you need to do, but I think that I've rehabilitated myself and changed all the shit. And when she said, no, you're going to get something else, like, he instantly went into violent mode. That's the problem. I mean, if you can't see that in so many cases across everything today, like, these people, if you're a career criminal, you're a career criminal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're a career criminal if nothing happens to you. If you have no consequence, why not? That's what you know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's your job. That's your trade. That's your trade in stock and trade. Is you're a criminal and nothing's going to happen. Why not keep it up?
Yeah. Well, true. I watched it.
And that judge, I think it was her son. Met a violent death too, and there was a background on her, and I don't know if that had anything to do with the sentence she handed down, but she didn't deserve that. That's for sure.
No, and again, like I said, these people, like, they have issues, they need help, they have issues, they need to be incarcerated. Yeah. End of story. You know what I mean? Like, all these people, like the AOCs and the Squad and that fucking Ilhan. Oh no, who's the one in fucking? Not in Detroit, the other one. It came from Somalia. She wears
that's Ilhan.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
married her brother.
Yeah, you stop the police department. I mean, and now and then it's like all these stop the police people need more police.
Yeah.
Need more police because
Well, no, they're all changing. We
can't change
last show. We talked about the mayor. We talked about the mayor of San Francisco last show that said we're putting it on the ballot to just cut the leash on the police and let them get back out there. Come
on, San Leandro, Oakland, San Francisco.
Like, we were talking about the weed business is great in California like that, but here's one that really exemplifies why businesses are leaving California in droves. The AB 1084 retailers now have to have a gender neutral toy section if they're selling toys. So, if you're Toys R Us or your Target or whoever that Target's into it, I'm sure, but you have to take a separate section in your store and make it gender neutral toys, whatever the hell that is.
Yeah, I was going to say
checkerboard.
What
I don't know.
Mean? What does it, I mean, I know what it means, but I
don't know what it means.
How do you define what toys are gender neutral?
Yeah. Well, you don't. And just like no one can define genders, or no one has. That's why there's so many pronouns. Nobody knows what the hell. We were just talking about the Delta ticket agent.
You just
misgendered me. And he goes. It basically said, go F yourself. It's Christmas. Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Do you want to get on this plane or don't you?
Yeah.
Because I have the ability to not let you on this plane.
Yeah.
You just what do you say? Mispronounced me or?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy. Then wear a fucking sign or a hat that says, "I'm a fucking gas plug," or you know what I mean, like whatever the fuck you are. You know what I mean? Because if you look like a girl, unfortunately, at 58 years old, I'm going to say, "Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am." Young lady, would you like? I don't know. That's just the way I was raised. That's just the way things are. I used, when I came from Philly, I remember be like, hey babe, can you do me a favor? Hey hon, could you do me a favor?
Yeah. I still say it.
You can't say that. What do you mean I can't say it? Why are you whispering? You know.
I call all the ladies doll.
Hi, doll. How you doing? Hi, sweetie. Thank you.
I do.
You know,
I don't.
growing up in Philly, that's the way it was.
Anytime I respond to a birthday on Facebook, it's happy birthday, doll.
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to.
I know you're misogynistic. You
Yeah.
fucking racist prick.
I am. I've been called worse. So.
Me too.
But yeah, so maybe that's where the SB43 that put hold people longer for mental disorders. That guy could have done. And then the last one, it's just I think this is like the best law they passed, which is cities can no longer ban people from cruising on the streets.
Oh, there's a win. There's one for the good guys. Mark that one down.
We'll see you on Whittier Boulevard.
That's right, with all the vatos cruising.
Yeah, Bellflower Boulevard,
Yeah, I don't know.
Atlantic Street, North Long Beach.
Yeah, well,
Atlantic Boulevard.
that's the only one that passed. And we forgot to mention, I think, when we were talking about the concealed carry thing, the 11% tax.
No, I mentioned it, but yeah.
Did you?
Yeah, but it's over the. It's just that. So now it's probably with sales tax. So you're paying 30%, maybe more.
Yeah.
Which gun control advocates probably get off on that. The fact that it doesn't make sense. It's probably more like we showed you.
It didn't show me anything. You know how many guns I bought in the last 3 years?
It did bother you a bit.
Every one of them legally. I background checked on each one. Every one of them.
Mm-hmm. We need to do another gun show, I think. We did one, yeah.
Let's do it. We got good views on that show.
Yeah. I think it was about a year ago, so we're probably going to have to get a bigger studio if you're going to bring all your stuff in.
Well, if I brought everything, we wouldn't have. It would take a couple hours. But we just went shooting. We just went shooting for my birthday.
That's right. You went out to the desert.
We went out to the desert. We took the Malaga militia boys, Parker and I, and Captain Debo's. The wild one, One Shot Will, Smoke Everywhere, Will of Fortune.
Yeah, it's big ass fun going out shooting in the desert, man.
Reed.
It really is.
Who else was out? There was a couple other guys out there.
Yeah, that's
my boy
fun.
Russell, old school bro Russell. Yeah, because I had just gotten another gun and I bought a new AK last year and I hadn't been out shooting all year, out that way, where I could, we set up and we go ham on it, Good times. Yeah, Second Amendment's important. You never know.
So,
the way the world's going.
We have a new segment on the show that we've been.
Oh yeah,
it's sort of new. I guess it's new. We started it last time. We were going to do. It's memes. We just kind of like them. They're kind of fun if they're clever.
Memes are good, and they help. They help enlighten conversation.
Yeah.
Or heighten conversation.
Yeah, they go through. They don't go much past the. First layer of gray cells, but that's okay. We need some of that anyway. So
yes, we do. Or some of these mushrooms.
Yeah.
But what do you got first for us, Joel?
What do you got up there, Joel?
Oh yeah, I like this one. It doesn't really. This is just a little start to the show. It was always fun. You can feed the world, but you can't park. That's a shout out to an old friend. But we got all this money for war. We got all this money for war and hate.
Yeah.
And no money for, veterans, unless you came across the border illegally and got trucked, bussed, or flown into New York, Chicago, or something, you're not getting any money. You're not getting what you deserve, Not that people that need help, those people don't need help too, but there's a difference there, Joe's letting all these people in and
well,
there's just issues.
We're all for protecting the American way of life, and if it's someone's coming and getting after you, you've got to do that. But
I am, you are.
Yeah, but Eastern Europe has always been a cluster, and it's even more so now. And
whole neighborhoods,
lives and treasure going over there, and like you said, we could build a hell of a wall with what we're giving to Ukraine. Yeah, that stuff.
If you just put cameras up, there's other ways, I'm sure, but
whatever it happens to be.
It's the sustainability of allowing. I think they said so far since he's been in office, there might be 7 to 8 million people.
Right. Well, it was over 250,000 in December. November was the all-time record.
Over 400, right?
Yeah. So, no, it wasn't, but it was over 250. But it was always Latin America.
Oh yeah, now
It's
they're
not anymore.
Now people are.
It's not anymore. But that's where they're landing.
Yeah.
And so much for asylum laws. That,
Yeah, and
that you
AOC
seek asylum in the first country that you enter. But
AOC went on a rampage last week about how these are children. It's not a crisis.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't. Yeah. Okay. I mean, there are some families, right? But
well, it's going to be a crisis in her district because all of New York, Jersey City, it's everywhere now.
I didn't even realize, she was like, there was a like an organization that like basically interviewed people for her position.
Yeah,
and then they put her in there and voted.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until years ago, but she's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, she's an idiot. She's getting much better at babbling kind of bullshit. Though she's getting pretty good at it, and some people they just do it with volume. Yeah. She's not, literally volume wise, but it's that concept. Yeah. She just a little more intense and a little. Yeah, but she's getting good at it. It doesn't say anything.
You're doing nothing.
Yeah,
like you're doing nothing, but. Enjoying like this celebrity TikTok, Instagram life, arguments with fucking Elon Musk, and she's like sitting there eating fucking chicken and talking, and it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you make no sense at all.
Or how to work a garbage disposal or a dishwasher, So anyway,
we'll do a whole other show on immigration. But
what else we have?
What you got next? Yeah. Oh, this is a great one, dude. Tell me about this, Johnny.
Well, yeah, Disney is...
And use the Force now, Jack.
Yeah, as you know, Disney is Star Wars, and Star Wars is Disney. And Shireen Abedi, something I don't know how to pronounce, Shinoi, who's going to be the new director, and she's the one that said she likes her art to make men uncomfortable. So that's who is going to be directing the new Star Wars for Disney, and this is one of the promo pictures we've got up here.
That is the promo picture.
For the new Star Wars that she's going to do. That's the star. That's
is
it
me, or do the stormtroopers look a little larger than normal?
They do. They do. Yeah.
I just noticed.
But apparently Disney's agenda over movie. So. And they've lost money. They're losing money. I don't know. Maybe this one will make them money, but I don't know how it can. They've already postponed Snow White, and we all know about that. I should have got the picture of that up there.
Well, apparently Barbie made a bunch of fucking money, but go ahead.
Well, Barbie, isn't that weird? It's about a girl. It's girly stuff.
It was all pink. Like, everything was fucking pink. I was like...
But it was all girly stuff.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, But, but that's who's going to do the new Star Wars movie. And they just haven't learned their lesson, I guess. Yeah. I mean, they've lost money on just about all their last pictures, all their superhero pictures are going down, and as soon as they got the Antifa cast to be these 7 dwarves, people lost their mind, and they had to basically redo the whole movie, for Snow White movie, and it's not even going. Oh yeah, it's not going to be out for quite a while. And the star of Snow White, she came out. I saw her, and she said, basically she said that it's a story about. Almost about sexual abuse because he's forcing himself on her with the kiss while she's asleep. And it's old.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, that's old. We can't do that anymore. So anyway, it's Disney. I don't know. We've said Walt rolling over in his grave, but
maybe his shareholders are too. Because didn't Elon Musk just tell him to go fuck himself recently? Was that Disney?
Well, yeah. What Elon Musk did was he.
Not Mr. Disney. I'm talking about
the corporations. Yeah. What happened was Media Matters, which is a news service, I guess you could say. They contacted all these Fortune 100 companies and said they put up some really nasty posts on X. Well, they're the ones.
I heard it on the X.
Well, they're the ones that did it. They had like a shadow kind of account that they did, and they put up all this bullshit. And then there were advertisements, IBM and AT&T and like that. And then they contacted all those companies and said, "Did you see what you're advertising on X?" And so they went after him and they pulled their advertising. And that's when he said in the interview, well, they can go fuck themselves.
He didn't care about the money.
Well, they're gonna
I love that about that guy.
yeah they're gonna try to take money away from the richest guy in the world. What do we got next there, Joel?
Speaking
of Elon,
and I just want to say that I'm not against Elon Musk or Tesla in any way. I'm really not a fan of electric cars in the fact that it takes so much to produce the batteries. They're just not practical right now, and they're kind of dangerous. So
no one wants them.
Recycling issues. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there, and look, hey, if you got a comment, please leave it. You know what I mean? All comments are welcome. I don't know who we talked to once about recycling. I think I was visiting my aunt and uncle in New Orleans, and they had some guests there, and we talked about electric cars for a minute. And he was telling me about. There are recyclable programs for these large batteries. I'm going to have to do some investigating on that because at the time I may have been under the influence and I didn't really do too much about it. But
you?
Basically, just a little bit. Okay. Anyway, here's a great meme of this young man getting a Lego Tesla.
Well,
it's already on fire.
Nobody wants to buy them right now for various reasons. They don't work in the cold weather. We just talked about Sweden is having the coldest winter in this century, which is really only 25 years. None of the buses run. And so they, and it's happening in the Midwest and the East too. They just don't work in cold weather, and it takes forever, that much longer to charge the batteries.
And I don't know if people know this or not. It depends on where you grew up. So I grew up on the East Coast. I was born in the great state of Maryland, a little town called Cumberland. It's up in the mountains, and then in Philly. Lived in Baltimore, and I will tell you that in the wintertime, when it's cold as fuck, right? The battery has to start the car. Once the car is started, the generator runs the electric stuff and puts power back into the battery. While your car's running, the battery does nothing but accept a charge if it's good. So if it's cold outside, right, and batteries, for some reason, if they're weak, don't like to start when it's cold outside. Baby, it's cold outside.
Yeah, it's always.
They're not going to fucking start.
It's always been that way.
They're not going to start.
You have to hook them up if you live in a cold the night before.
Yeah, like a glow plug, like a heater. You want to, like on a diesel vehicle, in the cold, you have to keep it plugged in so you can start it in the morning.
Well, and people don't want them. The inventories, we were talking about the inventories.
It went from 100 and something to 70.
Yeah, well, they're right now the inventories for internal combustion cars is about 70 days. They're 114-day supply of EVs right now. And I don't know if you remember, we were talking about Buick closed half their dealerships because they have too many of them, and the mandates that are coming, they just can't sell them. They're not going to be able to sell them going forward.
I didn't know that Buick was probably that high on the selling list in general.
I know. Well, yeah. So they closed half their dealerships, so now there are only 3 in the country. But so yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, I didn't know there were that many Buick dealerships, to tell you the truth.
I should. We should do this. We could do a segment on cars because there's a couple guys that I know that are lifetime car guys. Shout out to you boys, love you.
Yeah, because
Uncle Pemmy,
there are a lot of things that are happening.
I wouldn't want it to affect his business.
Dodge is and Chrysler. They just rolled out their last Challenger and their last Chrysler 300.
They're kind of late to that dance, though. We were talking about that 8-cylinder thing. You know?
But they're muscle cars, and they're cars people want, and people still want those cars. But they can't comply.
They can't comply because they're giving it to you with the 8-cylinder engine. I mean, Mercedes had a 12-cylinder engine. Right. I remember they made them for a couple of years. They were two 6-cylinder engines that were like basically married together. It would run on 6. You know what I mean? But they stopped that.
But they're muscle cars, and people still like them. And that's what's happening to the Camaro.
They were gone for a while, though, remember?
Yeah, but
the old Challenger and the Charger, the RTs. I mean, my stepdad and my mom used to pick me up from school in a 67 Dodge Charger.
Well, yeah.
White top, blue with a white interior. set of Krager's.
Badass.
Yeah, car smelled like weed. I'm sure those hippie fuckers were smoking weed before they picked me up.
Yeah.
But
What else we got, Joel? Yeah, it's more of the same. Yeah. Oh no, that's the gender.
Yeah. That's the gender one. Yeah.
I like him in the background, flipping them off.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, the gender thing. I don't know what to. It's
Again, I'm not against doing whatever you want to do, but there are only two genders.
yeah.
3, hermaphrodite, male or female. I can't help it. Don't get mad at me. I didn't write the book. Next, please.
I like this. If we divide 123 genders by white supremacy, how much climate change do we have? Just
And listen, please
I just
comment
speak-
below.
that's-
Please make some comments. We
Yeah.
want to hear what you have to say.
yeah.
Maybe somebody knows the answer.
That
You never know.
yeah, it might be an unsolvable problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we
Too many of those.
yeah, we love that one because that's really what it is.
Who'd you say that guy looked like?
Well, he looks like the guy that is the CEO, I believe, of IBM. Who I just saw a Zoom call with him saying that they're not allowed to hire any white people. If you do, you're fired.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they call that racism.
Yeah, well, of course it is. Oh, by the way, I talked to, we talked last show about a friend who was applying for.
Oh yeah. The doctorate in Irvine.
Well, he's a med school student,
young
and
man, right?
he wants to be a med school student, and he's got all the ducks in a row. He's
Yeah.
the guy you want in the operating room.
Right.
Super smart kid, and just stellar. And he applied and was rejected from UCI, UC San Francisco, and UCLA.
Yeah.
And
they got too many smart
and
Asian people already. Or
well,
what's the
his
problem?
mom is Asian and his dad was white. So there you go. We can't have any of that. But I talked to him. I saw him at a party, and it's interesting. No one wants to say anything, but I could tell between the lines what he was saying. And he said, "Yeah, they have a kind of a social construct that they want." He was very nice about it. And I talked to him about being on the show, and he was a little sheepish about it. Because think about it, if he came on and said, "Yeah, I think that's what happened to me," the internet's forever.
I told you could wear a mask.
Yeah, we'll blur him out or
Or
something.
you could blur him out. Or you could just have Joel could put a picture up of
Yeah.
Gruesome Newsome, and just his voice comes in on that
Yeah.
on that
Yeah.
channel. But yeah, I mean, I understand that completely. That's why I just said a little while ago, like when people ask me if they want to be on the show, I say sometimes, yeah, are you cool with it? You know what I mean? Because like, and not that we don't want people. I wouldn't want somebody to come on here and say something to Jack or I that they really meant, that they really didn't want other people to hear because of their ability to be canceled or some type of action taken against them. I mean, that's not what we're about. So
Yeah.
we wouldn't want to dox anybody or
Yeah.
cause anybody grief, or like nobody knows where this super secret location is, so we can't be swatted. You know what I
And
mean?
and the other thing is, we want people that disagree with us to come on.
We just
I
want
mean,
to have a
it's more fun.
discussion.
It's more fun, and it's more interesting, and we'll get somebody one of these days. We've had a couple.
A couple greats. A couple of them I got stoned and they couldn't talk, and that's my fault.
Yeah, there's no more smoking weed on the show except for Richie.
Yeah, it fucks people up.
Yeah, what do we got? What's next there, Joel?
Oh, Greta. Hey, shouldn't you be in school?
Yeah, I know. Well, now
Oh,
she's.
you
I
know
think she's
everything
she's
already.
of age now. I think.
Is she? But those
Yeah.
pictures, bro.
But this is so good. Let's stop climate change. No, not you. That's probably China, and the next one's China, and that's India, and somewhere in the Middle East, and who knows where that's. They're just dumping stuff. But you must stop it now. And it's just the little family
Yeah.
having fun by the lake.
Yeah, but there's
who
so-
probably drove there in their SUV.
There's so many people that don't see it that way.
I know.
They think that, the climate change is something that's being taken on all over the world, and it's not. It's just something that seems to be sold here in parts of Europe.
And when you talk to people about it, they list, what are you most concerned about? It's way down the list.
Yeah.
It's way at the bottom.
Yeah, but their taxes are up on it, though, aren't they? What's the next one?
What's our next one?
Oh,
this is still kind
whoa.
of funny.
He's not as orange in that picture.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. And Shifty looks red.
They both are kind of odd-looking guys, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But I love this. I do not suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. And that's true.
TDS,
You actually
yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that. I think there's an element of that it's what they know and someone knows. And we all have friends that you kind of look at them askance because they're just so strident about the hatred and as we like to call it, the bottomless pit of contempt for the guy.
I have to say that I completely blame, social media and mainstream media.
Yeah.
Because people have just painted a picture of someone. And again, let's go back. I never liked the fucking guy. My mom used to watch him on The Apprentice. I'd heard about him.
I always,
listen, and honestly, if you Google him, you will find that he has been in so many movies. The songs that were written about him, the shows he's been on, the people that he's touched, 99% of them are Democrats. As soon as he became a fucking politician, they didn't like him. Yeah. I get that. Okay,
as soon as he became a Republican politician.
Republican politician. Thank you, John. And he may be brash, and he may be bold, maybe from New York. Again, I didn't like him. I never could have fucking cared less. The only reason he even got involved in having conversations with people like you and Bruce and a few other people was when it was all starting to happen. I just didn't understand what this fucking guy did that was so crazy and different. And then I immersed myself in a lot of things that I shouldn't have and wasted a lot of time. But it made me, the core values that I have set more with a guy or a girl, whatever, that was like that. You know what I mean? About this country, and our government, and our border, and our people, and our veterans, no matter what color they are, you know what I mean? And making people pay their fair share around the rest of the world, you know what I mean, for things that we need to get involved in, maybe that we shouldn't be involved in. And then again, not taking us into any wars. He didn't take us into any war. There was no war, right? He negotiated with people. That brash and bold toughness that comes from him helped him negotiate with other world leaders and make things that were truly better for America.
So what were you saying that Farrakhan said about him?
Farrakhan said, and this was while he was still president. I just recently saw this. Louis Farrakhan, apparently, even amongst black folks, would say he's like a racist motherfucker, right? But he said that Mr. Trump, he referred to him as Mr. Trump. He said that he was an anomaly.
Yeah. He
said he was going after all of the enemies of black folks that kept them from coming up,
right?
From getting better. You know what I mean? They kept them down. I mean, he said some other things. I actually saw that clip. Shout out to Officer Tatum, officertatum.com. Reference on that. You want to see that? Want to see that little clip? That's another thing. The funny thing about the times that we live in now are there are people that have said shit and been filmed 20 years ago, right? And now you have them saying it and they flip flop. Joe was 29 years old saying, the token black or the token woman when he was 29 years old.
Yeah, they catch him doing all that, yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't have too many conversations with, the people. In fact, we don't have a lot of political conversations with anybody anymore. It just doesn't come up. And people, which, maybe, good, bad, probably more good than that. But the people that I do, yeah, that's another thing. But the people that I have had, the few, I've said, okay, you hate the guy. Which policy is it of his that you didn't like when he was president?
Oh, yeah.
And then it's crickets, and so it's just hard when people won't talk policy about anything. It's just I don't like the guy. And both he and Biden are cut from the same cloth. I mean, I'm going to get if they're sitting next to me in the bar, I'm probably getting up. Although people that know both those guys say, yeah, they're nice guys, but from the public persona that I know of both of them,
they're nice shysters.
I'm moving to a table.
Listen,
I don't want to sit by this guy.
I know a lot of nice guys that are hustlers. You know what I mean? On the street. Probably at night in the wrong circumstance, they'll fucking kill you.
Yeah.
Maybe rob you. Who fucking knows? You know what I mean? But they seem nice up front. But again, there is such a thing as this derangement syndrome because, you got to look past that. Here's the other thing. I can't remember. Here's the quote. Any removal of any candidates from the ballot, okay? Whether you hate Trump or not, you don't understand what you're rooting for. You know what I mean? You just don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whether Trump wins or not, it's like you're taking people off the ballots.
Yeah. Yeah. So Anyway, that's
What's
just
next?
shift the next U.S. senator from
I hate
California.
I hate that.
God.
That guy's such a fucking piece of
Yeah,
shit.
there's another
He is
one.
such a fucking look you
Yeah.
in the eye and
Yeah,
lie.
yeah.
Bug-eyed motherfucker.
Yeah.
You vote for him in California, you're stupid.
What's our next?
Fucking stupid.
What's our next one there, Joel?
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of a fun one. But yeah, when the tree crushes your electric vehicle.
That's in Europe somewhere too.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Well, look at the
yeah,
license
you can
plates.
see, yeah. Well, again, we don't care about electric cars. Probably were a good idea, And
I had electric cars when I was a kid. They
Yeah.
were so much fun on the track.
And
these cars are fun too. Apparently, they go like 0 to 60, just like you used to pull that trigger. Remember on that thing?
Yeah.
Zzz, the
Yeah.
car- same thing.
Yeah, and they're the same thing. And the idea of an electric car 25 years ago, that would be cool. Yeah, if we could do it. But now you're a bastard if you don't want to get an electric car, and you're going to get one. That's basically what it comes down to.
No, I'm not.
If you want to drive, you're going to get an electric car. Yes, you are.
I don't think
Yes,
so.
you are.
I don't think so.
Yes, you
I
are.
don't think so.
Okay. What's our next one, Joel?
Another cool cat there. Look at Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen, man.
Yeah.
I think I watched John Wick last night. A little bit of it.
Which
right?
one?
The first one.
Oh.
The first one's always the best, and I think that's what he was driving, but it wasn't that color. But yeah, that goes back to could have had a V8 and all the muscle cars that are on their way
Did
out.
they take the Mustang emblem off the front of that?
Yeah, it does look like it, didn't it?
Or is it because they had a Cougar for a couple years, but it was a little different. It looks like
Yeah.
a Mustang.
Yeah, McQueen was pretty cool, man. He was
Yeah,
he was a cool
motorcycles
guy. Yeah.
and cars. He was a great actor. Yeah, shout out to one of those cool cats.
Yeah, I have a story about my brother. I'll tell you sometime. He was racing Steve McQueen. Malibu used to have a
He used at Elsinore a lot over here.
Yeah, well, they used to Malibu. There were motorcycle tracks or parks.
Yeah.
Saddleback. There was one in Malibu. They call it the Malibu Country Club, actually. And Steve McQueen was out there. My brother decided he was going to go after,
Wow.
try to keep up with him. And yeah, so I had to pull him out of the ditch when
Triumphs,
he crashed.
BMWs. Yeah, they would.
Yeah, so it's a gruesome story, but yeah, McQueen
Flat
was out
track
there doing his
bikes.
thing. But yeah, the V8s are going, so what the hell? Time marches
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
What else we got, Joel?
Oh yeah, the Shaman. Happy
Yeah.
Fake Insurrection Day.
Yeah.
He's out though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait for the rest of that stuff to come out. There's so much, I think it was a senator in Utah that they were talking about how it was blown out of proportion and ridiculous that the Trump wanted to have the National Guard come in and they said no, and how the clips that are shown. And the film, Nancy Pelosi's daughter being there and like shooting a video that day, and
FBI being there, people being held for over a year for misdemeanor charges.
Oh, that's the
and they're
people that
still
got
there.
busted,
The
yeah.
people are still there,
it was a farce.
and there are people that never even went in.
Set up like a bowling pin.
Yeah. So, but it was an insurrection. Who tries to hold an insurrection party without a gun?
Well,
I think everybody's so cynical. They've caught on, and we know what's what with those people, So
yeah, well, but when we talked about the other day, I think there's people that stir the pot. I think there's people that put the things in the pot, and I think there's people, not this pot that I'm smoking. I mean, and there's people that just believe the shit that's being told to them.
yeah.
Because it fits that narrative and it puts that pressure against, you know what I mean?
Well, and there are a lot of people that, and I understand, they see a headline and that's it.
Russian collusion,
And, yeah,
they
they
see
see
the
a
laptop.
they see a headline. They hear a scientist talk that believes, people don't necessarily believe in science. We talked about that during COVID. They believe in scientists.
Yeah.
And so a scientist that kind of talks about the way they think and they just leave it at that, and say, yeah, it's horse tranquilizer. When no, it's not, and it actually helps people. But
it was a medicine was used previously, but yeah. So you got that, and the media and like all that stupid shit. People just believe it.
yeah,
They just believe it. They don't think for themselves.
Less
They
and
don't
less.
care. Their lives. They're too involved in their own lives, which is understandable.
yeah,
I mean,
it's a lot of bullshit. I mean, God love them, and I'm a little envious at times because
Yeah.
we're constantly trying to think about things for the show and looking at what's going on in the world, and if you have to be careful because it'll consume you, just like the shorts that you watch on Facebook that come, the 30-second things that hit the dopamine, and that's all you see and that's all you think about, and then going to work.
Yeah, it just amazes me that people don't think more. I don't know. Maybe it's the weed. Maybe I get too high and it makes me think, but
No,
I just think
that's not it.
I just think about stuff. You know what I mean? And like, why? I always want to know why it works that way, or how come it only works that way. Just you gotta wonder. You gotta question things. We talked earlier about Green Day changing their song. About that MAGA bullshit.
Well, it makes them relevant, I guess. Again,
Well,
people jump. There's a lot of bandwagon stuff that people.
Yeah.
Some people really believe it. They probably believe it. Don't want to be an American idiot and all that stuff. But a lot of people just, finger in the wind. Oh, okay, that's where I'm going.
Right, but these people used to be the anti-establishment. I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah.
That you used to
It's
be
weird.
anti-war,
It's
anti-establishment.
flipped.
Don't trust the man. You know what I mean? Like, don't trust anybody over whatever. And again, it's like all those people are now these other people. You know what I mean?
It's weird. Yeah, it was always question authority. That was the mantra, and like the zenith was 1968 at the Democratic Convention, I think, and then Woodstock, that type of thing. But it was always question authority. And when COVID hit, it was don't question any authority, fall in line. It was a light switch. It was like that, and people I know that I consider really good friends and family.
Yeah, they lost their shit on you because they thought you were going to kill people.
Yeah, I was a murderer because I didn't get the job, and
again,
I shouldn't be allowed to do this, and I can't see you, and
Well, like common sense, like remember, I was out every day of the pandemic. I had to be out. And my mom, no, we're going to put boxes outside of the house for you. What do you need? We don't want to, after 30 or 45 days of traveling around the state and seeing what was going on and, doing my own due diligence. Not that I'm a fucking doctor, not that I give anybody medical advice, but I'm just saying I just wasn't buying what was being sold. I didn't see that. I didn't believe the numbers. We had to talk about the homeless people with a friend of ours, it just wasn't that bad. You know what I mean? And I just didn't believe what was being told to me. And now I feel like, there were some hurt feelings from people and discussions and things like you're kind of talking about because of that. Because they said one thing and you believed it and I didn't. And because I didn't believe it,
you're a bad guy.
I'm a bad guy.
You're a bad guy.
Right? That's the thing I'm getting at. Like, why does that make me the bad guy?
Yeah.
If we were such great friends, and if that's the case, then we're not friends. We're all glad. I'm glad I knew that. Glad I didn't waste giving you a gun and ammo to help, because you probably wouldn't. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but
Well, and the other thing is, I suppose that I think those people that. They're fine with what happened and the way they reacted, and they're unapologetic about it and everything.
Which is cool. Hey, move on.
I guess
I'm not holding a grudge.
I'm not holding a grudge either. But there's absolutely no, they're not acknowledging that at all, and
what I'm saying
it just doesn't come up.
What I guess the point I'm trying to make is the government and social media and mainstream media. They did that to us as Americans. They did that to us as human beings, to brothers and sisters, to family and friends, to aunts and uncles, to fucking ex-girlfriends, to whatever. That was created, you know what I mean, and allowed to take place. I mean,
I have two friends that have not spoken to anyone in their family since COVID happened because they didn't get the shot and they questioned it. The family won't have anything to do with them. So, anyway, I think we have a couple more.
Do we have a couple more? We got off on a tangent.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
and we fact checked.
We got to move on here.
We fact checked this.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Yeah, run that back. Yeah, right. So go ahead.
Jimi Hendrix played the national anthem in front of 500,000 progressive, anti-establishment hippies and not one of them protested.
Now, we did find out, because John was there, or Jackie was there, he said, there was only 10,000 people there when he actually did do that part of the show. It was a Sunday morning or a Sunday night.
It was Monday morning, yeah.
Yeah. There was a delay, but if
but it was still an iconic performance. But
right.
They weren't sitting down.
By a man who was in the U.S. Army during Vietnam.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was a veteran. Jimi Hendrix was a veteran. Played in the Army band, as a matter of fact. Yeah. But we didn't. That's a whole nother thing about athletes and musicians.
Dying young. Yes, they say the government killed them.
Yeah, well, that. But there is that. What was the 27? That was the age. It was him and
Morrison and Janis.
And something about magic about that age. But it's,
and at that time, because they were really powerful.
Yeah.
With young people.
Yeah. Well,
no tinfoil hat.
The other thing is at 27, which is that old joke. We have shirts that are 27 years old. What those people accomplished, Hendrix and Morrison and Janis at that age is just really phenomenal.
And one of the coolest things was, and actually, shout out to the great Scott Grunske. We talked about coming on the show, so we'll have to contact him. See what he wants to do.
Sure.
Played a gig with him, and we were talking about this huge great guy.
Yeah.
I have a great story, but I'll save that for when he gets on the show about how he and I met. But we were talking about songwriting and performing and how you maximizing your minutes and having a great time while you're here on Earth, while you're enjoying your life. These people wrote songs and etched performances in stone that will live on long after after they've passed. And it was something that he said to me. He's like, we need to write some songs. You know what I mean? So that we have, so there'll be something here from us after we're gone. It was pretty cool. You know what I mean?
No, he's right. Something more than a Facebook video at some bar that.
Well, this show will probably be available to somebody somewhere. 30, 40 years from now, they might stumble onto something and go, "We found this. Look at it." And who are these fucking idiots? So this is who we are, motherfucker.
Yeah. That was a good one. That was a good one, Jimmy. And I think we're kind of over. It's a small group of people that now protest the flag and sit down and like that. But the interesting thing about that is the junior hockey from USA won the world championship, and there's a picture of them juxtaposed against women's soccer, and they're singing the national anthem while it's going on. While
hockey
they're on the
don't
podium.
fuck around. Hockey,
they're pretty big. But anyway, I think it's getting smaller and smaller. People are they're not sitting down when they, when they see the flag. They're not throwing up like they used to. But anyway, we got any more there, Joel? I guess this is the show's about memes.
This was a great one.
We love this one. 1960s. Oil is gone in 10 years. 1970s. Another ice age in 10 years. In the 1980s. Acid rain will destroy all crops in 10 years. In the 90s. The ozone layer will be gone in 10 years. In 2000, the ice caps will be gone in 10 years. Nothing happened, but all resulted in more taxes.
What year is it, John? 2024.
Yeah. My God, we're still here.
Yeah.
So,
well,
I don't know. It's just, again, I guess that sold soap, our favorite saying.
Oh, it sold soap. Yes, it did. Yeah.
Sold Territon cigarettes in the 1970s, I suppose.
Yeah. Or T-berry chewing gum. You never know.
I think you could still advertise cigarettes in the early 70s.
Sure you could.
I'd rather fight than switch.
I was in Nashville talking to my cousin and somebody else, and I said, I used to get on the airplane and the smoking section was in the back. There was ashtrays in the arms.
Yeah, I know.
I used to, even back then, this is how fucked up I am. Back then I used to wonder
I know.
aisle 26,
I know.
back to 38.
Yeah.
is smoking.
Yeah.
From 28 forward, there's no
yeah,
smoking.
I know. Yeah, and you're in row 25.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Because I smoked on airplanes.
Yeah.
I remember smoking at my desk at work. I had a piston off of a Mercedes, this huge ass piston, right? And we had cut it out, and it was an ashtray. And I'd be like with people like this on the phone, going, "Yeah, I'll be right with you. Hold on, give me a second,
Well, here's one. I tore a cartilage in my knee in 1971 playing wrestling, and in those days you ended up in the hospital for 4 days because they took a jackhammer and a backhoe and ripped everything out. Yeah. And I woke up one night, and because there was smoke in the room, because the old guy next to me was just smoking in bed and he fell asleep.
Oh, it was a fire in the hospital?
In the hospital. In
with
the hospital room.
Tanks around?
Yeah, let people smoke. They let people smoke. I remember going in to get physicals before work with doctors that they're just smoking in the exam room, going, okay, yeah. Turn your head and cough, all right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, there's probably, I think maybe down south. But the last time I think I was in Vegas, they had a smoking room in the airport.
Yeah.
Like, they had a room.
It's outside.
Especially that slot machine.
It's kind of outside, isn't it?
No, it was in like the middle, but it was like, boxed off room.
Yeah.
The yellow ceilings from this room, everybody's in there, It's funny how the way things used to be and the way things are now, just with
and I got to be honest, it doesn't bother me a bit that they don't smoke in the clubs.
Oh no,
yeah, I'm fine with that. Trying to sing and just coming home and just your equipment
smelled like cigarettes.
Drums are pretty hard surface. It would smell like cigarettes. So
yeah, everything did because everybody smoked.
Yeah,
but yeah, don't smoke.
So you got any? I think that's it, isn't it, Joel? Oh, yeah, this one, yeah.
Uncle Joe, you fucking mook.
I love this one. I want you to look in my eyes. I guarantee you we're going to end fossil fuels. We're going to end fossil fuel. Well, guess what? In November, the United States produced 13.2 million barrels of oil. Yeah. It's the most we've ever done. It's the most of any country in the world.
And where'd it go?
Yeah, and so if that's what's happening, if we're reducing fossil fuels, we're getting rid of it, and you don't hear them talk about that. I mean, they've done things behind, they released some stuff up in Alaska and here and there, but they don't tout it like they do climate change and the evil, but they're letting it go. And it's one of the reasons that, they kind of said, well, go ahead, Saudi Arabia, cut your production. So what? They don't even produce near what we do in a day. So I don't know. Yeah, another one of those. Come on, man.
Yeah,
as he likes to say.
Yeah, well, you got they just spew lies.
I know, and
they push people in directions.
But I just don't understand the about forcing people away from oil and into electric cars and like that. To what end? I mean, it's because it's not going to help. It doesn't help the climate. It really doesn't. Everybody knows what electric cars, what it takes to make one.
Let me ask you this. Here's a great question. So all the poor people in China, what are they going to drive?
Yeah.
Gas engines?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those little scooters are going to run around on. They all going to be. Can everybody afford an electric?
What are the poor people in Oklahoma going to drive?
What are the poor people in India going to drive? What are the poor people in Africa going to drive?
Yeah.
In order for that to work, you know what I mean? Like, you would have to eliminate it completely.
Yeah.
And fossil fuels are just involved in too much plastic.
And everyone knows that, and yet they
earbuds, microphones, microphone cables. I mean,
it's
your head out of your ass. It's not
that,
gonna fucking work.
It's that pay no attention to the man behind the curtain when the curtain's been pulled. Okay, we know what you're.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
Well, we do because we think about it. We do because I think we care. And shout out to the Patriots. Shout out to everybody. We wish everybody happiness and safety and a great way to enjoy your life, be with your family, play golf, play music, do podcasts, whatever you do,
Yeah.
But it just seems like they're making it tougher and tougher, and I wouldn't believe a fucking thing that anybody tells you unless you saw it.
And even then.
Yeah, it's questionable. But yeah, shameless plug. I don't know if we'll get the show up by this time, but this time next Sunday, the Ferris Wheel Junkies are going to open up for Cubensis at the Coach House.
Oh, that'll be fun.
In San Juan Capistrano, yeah, Cubensis is a Grateful Dead tribute band, and they rock, and they've been rocking around here for good, probably, I don't know, 20 years.
Yeah.
They do some touring.
Who's in the band?
The band is...
Because you never know with the Playboys.
Well, it's actually it's a Ferris Wheel Junkies.
The Ferris Wheel Junkies,
it's
kind of the same, yeah.
Yeah, well, we try to separate them, but let's see, Albert Margolis on keys, Greg Richardson, Brett Davis, both those guys on guitar.
Brett? Oh, okay.
The Judge, Jeff on bass, and Downtown Paul Brown on drums.
Oh, that's a good band right there.
Yeah, I think we're going to have a rehearsal this week. So
what? Wait a minute.
Hell will freeze over. Yeah, there'll be a set list and a small rehearsal. It's someone else's request, not mine. So anyway, like I said, just... keep your head on a swivel. Believe what you believe, and do your research when you can,
and leave us a comment.
Yeah, share it, like it. If you don't like it, go fuck yourself.
We're on YouTube. Go on, subscribe. Don't fuck yourself.
Yeah. That'll keep me up.
To quote somebody, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, go on YouTube, subscribe. We're on there.
Rumble.
Rumble. Hit our Venmo because we'll be on Facebook here and.
We're trying to get some new equipment and move into a better studio. We need your help.
Yeah, we need new backdrops.
Support the old guys.
We need new backdrops. These things cost like $25 each. So
hey, that was a good $25 I spent, bro. Now. But
anyway.
Like I said, remember life is short. You got to hustle hard, and you got to live and love like you mean it. Never trust a living ass, and we'll see you at the saloon real soon.